So Khamzat Chimaev has finally shut up the doubters. He's proved to everyone that he's 100% the real Del Holyfield dog. He's gonna mollywop the fuck out of anyone's ass. He proved that he's that guy. So with this recent showing, I want to put together a tier list of the fighters that I think could either beat him, have a decent chance, or literally no chance at all. So we're gonna get right into it. The first fighter up on the tier list is Bo Nickal. So I think this is a very easy fight to break down. Bo Nickal is not experienced enough at the moment in MMA. I think in the striking realm, Khamzat clears him. Khamzat has the ability to switch to southpaw. He has good power. He actually has some decent high kicks. The big thing would be the cardio. If Nickal is able to survive, Nickal could take over. The big thing is, the wrestling. Like, a lot of people don't think that Khamzat could take Bo Nickal down. He's taking down every fighter he shot on. And MMA is different. MMA is a different aspect when it comes to, Olympic or collegiate wrestling. And it's unknown how Bo Nickal looks off his back, just in like a defensive position when it comes to grappling. Khamzat is a great offensive grappler in MMA. And he's finishing these dudes time and time again. So I would pick Khamzat to beat him. If Khamzat wanted to take the striking realm, I could literally see him putting Bo Nickal away in one round. Bo Nickal was so unexperienced, and I think he could take advantage of Bo Nickal. I would put Bo Nickal at the moment at the low chance tier. The next fighter up on the tier list is Fluffy Hernandez. So Fluffy has been very impressive. I picked Pereira to beat him. He finishes Pereira in the 5th round. Looked very impressive. His pace, his cardio, and his grappling is a lot for most of these guys. But I think when it comes to Khamzat, he would have to pick up in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. When it comes to the striking, Fluffy has knowledgeable boxing. That's the best way I could put it. He's not really a good striker, but he has common sense to know how to throw, overhand left hook, a jab. The thing with Fluffy, though, is he usually finds adversity and then, takes over the fight. I think that Khamzat could find a lot of success on the feet. And I think Khamzat could finish him on the feet. He has a nasty right hand. He has good head kicks. But likely, if Khamzat hurts him, Fluffy should survive because, he survived Pereira. You can't always do MMA math, but he should survive a Khamzat knockdown. In the grappling realm, I think Khamzat would smash him. Like, I think he could get double legs and single legs on Fluffy. And I think he could ground and pound him and do a lot of damage. When it comes to submissions, I can't really see him submitting Fluffy because, I can't even say that anymore because, he submitted Whittaker. That's crazy. But the chances of him submitting Fluffy, in my opinion, are not, great. Fluffy won't stay, in a position. I think he'll be very active and he'll stay cautious. So I think Fluffy could survive, the first 2 rounds. And then it comes into, the late rounds. What's going to happen then? I think Khamzat could still win the 3rd round, but I think, Fluffy would win the 4th and the 5th round. And it'll be ultimately a 3-2 decision towards Khamzat's way. So I would have to put Fluffy at the decent chance tier. I think he has a good chance to beat Khamzat, but I would still favor Khamzat in that fight. The next fighter up on the tier list is Nassourdine Imavov. So I'm going to be pretty blunt with this here. I think that, Imavov is a really good fighter. He's actually one of my favorite middleweights right now. I think he's very good. And I think he actually has a good style to beat Dricus du Plessis. But Khamzat is just too much for him. He's too much for him. We've seen Brendan Allen take him down and control him for a whole round, bro. And he does give his back to get up at times as well. So honestly, I think Khamzat will do the same thing that he did to Whittaker. I think he could either secure a rear naked choke on Imavov or flatten him out and ground and pound TKO him. I just see Khamzat running through him, honestly. I would have to put Nassourdine Imavov at the low chance tier. The next fighter up on the tier list is Caio Borralho. Khamzat and Caio have actually trained together before, so they've done work. They're familiar with each other's styles. We haven't really seen Caio off his back. We haven't seen him really get taken down. So to my recent memory, I do think Khamzat could take him down, but also Caio is a very good grappler. I do wonder if he would give Khamzat his back to get up. A lot of jiu-jitsu players, they usually do give their back and expose themselves to get out of position. So I'm very interested in that. There's still some unknowns when it comes to Caio. I would favor Khamzat. Caio has the cardio edge. I don't really see Khamzat finishing Caio. Maybe he would, but like I said, it's kind of an unknown when it comes to Caio's defensive grappling at a high level. I would favor Khamzat, but maybe by decision. Caio is obviously the better striker. He's not some world level elite striker, but he is a good southpaw. He has straight lefts, decent power. good jab. I think his best attribute is actually his kicks and his footwork. But I will say, I think, the Cannonier fight is kind of overrating his striking. I don't think it's that complex. I'll put Kyle Bahayo at the decent chance tier to beat Khamzat. The next fighter up on the tier list is Sean Strickland. So a lot of people are going to be mad about this. This is another one that I don't think is very complex. Sean Strickland has good get-up ability. He has bad hips. I think he had an injury a long time ago. So, he's been taken down a few times. I think Khamzat would double leg him off the cage easily, similar to Dricus du Plessis. And when Strickland gets up, he usually exposes his back. Sometimes he stands straight up. Credit to him, he's able to do that. But I think Khamzat would easily rear naked choke Sean Strickland. If he's able to survive, obviously he would pick Khamzat apart on the feet and eventually melt him with his volume. But I don't see that happening. I think Khamzat basically runs through him. I would put Sean Strickland at the low chance here, just off the simple fact that him surviving is not very likely in my opinion. The next fighter up on the tier list is welterweight title contender Shavkat Rakhmonov. So Shavkat, he's another guy. It's kind of unknown how he is off his back, his defensive grappling per se. I do think that he's not that strong. Jeff Neal kind of showed that. Granted, Jeff Neal did miss weight, but also Wonderboy, had success defending takedowns versus Shavkat. So offensively, he's not going to do anything with Khamzat Chimaev wrestling or grappling. I do think he has good submission ability, but then again, like defensively, how good is it? Because offensively, we know he's really good offensively, but defensively, we don't know yet. When it comes to the striking aspect, he is the better striker. He has a lot of tools in his box. He has a lot of variety, decent shot placement, very, very good power. He has deceptive speed, but he's not, the fastest fighter. His head movement is non-existent, similar to Khamzat, but we've seen him get hit a lot. On the feet, I could actually see Khamzat having a lot of success with his jab and his straights. And at 185, that's 15 pounds. So even though Shavkat has a good chin, granted chins could be cracked. We just saw that sadly with Max Holloway. So I wouldn't be surprised if Khamzat sat him down and, maybe TKO'd him. But if Khamzat took down Usman, I do think that, the strength factor, he could take down Shavkat Rakhmonov. I'd probably say like a body lock trip. I don't really see a single leg. Double leg is possible, but yeah, I see like body lock and trips of that sort. Shavkat is, a very lanky, long fighter, long ass limbs, fucking long ass draft neck. So maybe Khamzat could, secure a rear naked choke. But I would, bet that Shavkat could survive. I actually think, his power and his variety could get to Khamzat. And then especially if he invests to the body. I would put Shavkat at a decent chance here. But I think 185 and the strength factor could be too much for Shavkat Rakhmonov. The next fighter up on the tier list is Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya at this point is kind of like on a downward trajectory. I still think he's good enough to beat most of these, 185 contenders, but to regain the belt, I'm not sure about that. When it comes to Khamzat, Izzy has the ability to step in knee Khamzat. A lot of guys, I've noticed that a lot of guys with Khamzat, they know the shot's coming, but they never throw it or try to meet him. And I think Izzy has that ability. We've seen it against Brunson. Granted, it was a long, long time ago, but I could see him timing Khamzat with a big shot up the middle. I think that's his best chance to win the fight. There is no way in any kind of alternate universe that Israel Adesanya could survive with Khamzat on the ground for one round. I don't see it. I actually think that Khamzat Chimaev would arm triangle Israel Adesanya. So it really comes down to Izzy landing that big shot and putting Khamzat away. The chances of that are very unlikely. I would put Israel Adesanya at the low chance tier. The next fighter up on the tier list is actually a champion, the 170-pound champion, Belal Muhammad. So this fight is going to be at 185. Belal won't have the attributes that he has at 170. Stronger than him, more powerful than him. Even though Belal has good takedown defense, I honestly still think that Khamzat would take him down with most likely a double leg off the fence. I don't think Belal is stronger than Usman. And if you want to say that maybe he's as strong, I could get with that. But we've seen what Khamzat did to Usman. So I think the strength factor is going to be too much. I could really see Khamzat putting him away on the feet because Belal, although he's tough and he has good recovery, he doesn't have the best chin. We know that. I see Khamzat just bullying him and ground and pound TKO him in the first 2 rounds. I would put Belal Muhammad at the low chance tier, honestly. Because even if he survives the first 2 rounds, I still think Khamzat could win the third round. And, the last 2 rounds, I mean, he doesn't have finishing potential. So even if he's unloading with a boatload of volume, I still don't think he could hurt Khamzat. And Khamzat, even though if he's gassed, I still think he could counter Belal. Because Belal is very plotty. When he throws his straight shots, he keeps his head on the center line. So I could see, Khamzat slipping his head off the center line and landing the overhand even in the later rounds. I would have to put Belal Muhammad at the low chance tier. The next fighter up on the tier list is former middleweight champion and current 205 champion Alex Poatan Pereira. So this fight could go two ways. We all know this. Pereira is able to find a counter either early or late. So with this fight, honestly, I don't actually think the cardio aspect would be a big hope to Khamzat, because I think that, if Pereira in some weird world is able to survive on the ground with Khamzat for the first 2 rounds, I actually think that Pereira would gas from trying to get up continuously off the ground from Khamzat. So actually, I think Khamzat will be more fresh in the later rounds than Alex, because Alex is not used to that, that wrestling pace. But ultimately, I think Khamzat could single leg or double leg him in the first 30 seconds, get him down easily, work his way to the back, land some good ground and pound, put Alex in a body triangle and rear naked choke him, maybe like in the first 3 minutes. I think he would honestly destroy Alex Pereira at 205. Granted, there is a weight advantage, so Alex is going to be stronger than Khamzat, but I just still think that's not enough. I think Khamzat would still be strong enough at 205, and the skill difference when it comes to grappling and wrestling is drastically gapped. So I would have to put Alex Pereira at the low chance tier. His only chance is to knock Khamzat out, obviously, and the chances of that, in my opinion, are super low. Like, if Ankalaev could arguably, ragdoll you, imagine what Khamzat's going to do, bro. And he seems to always grapple with heavier guys. Even Gustafsson, a long time ago, was saying how Khamzat would ragdoll him in the gym. So, and Gustafsson's not a small guy. Like, he fought at heavyweights. So I think Khamzat would cook Pereira. The last and final fighter on the tier list is the current middleweight champion, Dricus du Plessis. So this is interesting. On the feet, he's better than Khamzat. He has better variety, good power. Khamzat has power. We know he can switch to southpaw, has a good jab, like I said. He has good kicks. If Khamzat knocked DDP down, I would not be surprised. Soldic knocked him out. We've seen him hurt against Brunson. We've seen him hurt against Till. He gets buzzed in a lot of fights. Not like on stanky legs or nothing, but he gets hit, and you can tell the shot kind of bothered him a little bit. Khamzat 100% would take DDP down. I know a lot of people think that, the strength of DDP would trump Khamzat's, but I credit you headlock throw Whittaker, but I mean, we just seen Khamzat broke Whittaker's jaw in a neck crank. Like, come on, bro. We've seen DDP reversed by Brunson. We've seen him try to take Tavares down and get reversed. So I think he could survive versus Khamzat, but he's 100% getting taken down, and I think it's actually going to be more easier than we expect. Working his way back to the feet, I don't think he would be able to scramble back up in the open. If he's against the cage, he's going to have to give his back. He's very explosive, so there's potential that, he could explode out of a position, but I don't think that's very likely. I think the submissions for Khamzat, if he's able to finish DDP, would be a rear naked choke, or maybe, a Doris. I could even see, a standing guillotine as well. DDP does have a good chance to survive, and I do think that if it goes to the championship rounds, DDP would make Khamzat pay in the clinch and start punishing him, landing elbows, knees, straights on the guard, big shots on the guard, welting Khamzat. All in all, I would have to put DDP at the 50-50 chance tier, just off the simple fact that he could survive. And he would put a pace on Khamzat with power. He has finishing potential, so that's a big thing when it comes to Khamzat. If you have cardio and finishing potential, you have a good chance, but some of these guys that could survive don't have good finishing potential, so I can't put them that high. But DDP, he deserves to be in the 50-50 chance tier. I would favor Khamzat to win the fight, but DDP has a very good chance.
I'm confident you're going to knock Max Holloway out. But Ilya, Jeremy Stevens, Yair Rodriguez, Alexander Volkanovski, Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, none of them were able to knock out Max Holloway.
He's different. This an AP and a hat automatic. Dipping that white in the kitchen, box at it. Sipping it slowly, the whipping no faster.